Susan Boyle once walked onto a stage with nothing but a simple dress, a shy smile, and a dream that almost everyone in the audience believed was impossible. Within minutes, she transformed from an unemployed woman from a small Scottish village into one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. Her voice silenced doubters, broke records, and inspired millions who had ever been told they weren't good enough. To the world, it looked like the perfect fairy tale. Fame, fortune, standing ovations, millions of albums sold. Everything people imagine when they dream about overnight success. But real life is rarely that simple. Behind the headlines was a woman who had spent decades feeling overlooked, misunderstood, and underestimated. While millions celebrated her success, Susan Boyle was quietly learning that fame could bring its own loneliness. The pressure of global attention, deeply personal health struggles, and the challenge of protecting her private life would test her in ways no television audience could ever fully see. Today, at 65, Susan Boyle's life looks very different from the glamorous image many people still picture when they hear her name. Some people describe her life as surprisingly lonely. Others believe she has finally found a kind of peace that fame could never provide. In this video, we'll follow Susan Boyle's extraordinary journey from her modest childhood in Scotland to the audition that changed entertainment history. We'll explore the personal struggles she quietly endured behind the spotlight, her health challenges and emotional battles, why so many people now describe her life as bittersweet, how she spends her days at age 65, and what her remarkable story teaches us about fame, happiness, and the courage to remain true to yourself. Because the biggest surprise isn't how famous Susan Boyle became. It's how different her real life turned out to be. Susan Magdalene Boyle was born in Blackburn, a small village in West Lothian, Scotland. It wasn't a place known for producing international stars. Life there moved at a slower pace. People knew one another, families often stayed for generations, and dreams of worldwide fame seemed almost impossible. She was the youngest of 9 children born to Patrick and Bridget Boyle. Her father worked as a miner and also sang in local venues, while her mother had trained as a shorthand typist before dedicating herself to raising a large family. Music filled the Boyle household. Her parents loved singing, and Susan quickly developed a passion for it herself. She often listened to records, sang in church, and dreamed of one day performing before large audiences. But from a very young age, life presented obstacles. During a difficult birth, Susan experienced a lack of oxygen that doctors at the time believed had caused learning difficulties. For much of her life, she was incorrectly labeled as having learning disabilities. Years later, she would discover she actually had Asperger's syndrome, a diagnosis she publicly revealed in 2013. Looking back, that diagnosis helped explain many of the social challenges she had faced growing up. School wasn't easy. Other children often teased her. She struggled to fit in and was frequently underestimated by people who judged her before taking the time to know her. The bullying hurt deeply, but Susan rarely spoke publicly about how much those experiences affected her. Instead, she found comfort in music. Whenever life became overwhelming, singing offered an escape. Her powerful voice became something that belonged entirely to her, a gift no one could take away. Teachers noticed her talent. Family members encouraged her to keep singing. Yet encouragement alone couldn't erase the reality that opportunities were limited for someone from her background. As the years passed, Susan continued performing wherever she could. Church gatherings, community events, local competitions. Small audiences applauded, but bigger opportunities always seemed just out of reach. Life moved on while her dream appeared to stand still. Unlike many aspiring singers who moved to major cities chasing record deals, Susan remained in Blackburn. She cared for her aging parents and lived a quiet, modest life. When her father passed away in the 1990s, the family experienced another painful loss. Then came perhaps the hardest moment of all. Her beloved mother Bridget died in 2007. Susan later described her mother as her biggest supporter, the person who had always believed she possessed a remarkable voice. Losing her left an enormous emotional emptiness. For a time, Susan felt completely alone. She had never married and had no children. Much of her daily life had revolved around caring for her mother, and suddenly that purpose had disappeared. Friends worried about her. Some wondered whether she would ever pursue the singing career she'd dreamed about since childhood. Before her mother's death, Bridget had reportedly encouraged Susan to take one final chance and audition for a television talent competition. That encouragement stayed with her. Eventually, Susan decided she had nothing left to lose. She was 47 years old. In an industry obsessed with youth, glamorous appearances, and polished performers, she hardly fit the stereotype of a future pop sensation. Many people would have given up long before reaching that age. Susan didn't. She traveled to audition for Britain's Got Talent, joining thousands of hopeful performers chasing the same impossible dream. Few expected anything extraordinary. Even some people waiting backstage reportedly overlooked her. When she introduced herself and mentioned her age, parts of the audience reacted with laughter and visible skepticism. The judges exchanged uncertain glances. It was a moment that perfectly reflected much of Susan Boyle's life. For decades, people had formed opinions before hearing her sing. But within seconds, everything was about to change. The woman so many had underestimated was standing on the edge of a performance that would become one of the most unforgettable auditions in television history, and change her life forever. The silence inside the theater lasted only a moment. Susan Boyle stood calmly beneath the bright lights, facing a crowd that had already decided who they thought she was. Some audience members smiled politely. Others laughed openly after hearing that the 47-year-old woman from the tiny Scottish village of Blackburn dreamed of becoming a professional singer like Elaine Paige. The reaction wasn't cruel from everyone, but it was filled with doubt. For Susan, it was a familiar feeling. She had spent nearly her entire life being underestimated. Then the music began. The opening notes of I Dreamed a Dream from Les Miserables echoed through the auditorium. Almost instantly, the room changed. The laughter disappeared. Expressions of skepticism turned into disbelief. By the time Susan reached the first chorus, the audience was on its feet. The judges were visibly stunned. Millions of viewers watching at home experienced the same reaction. Within days, clips of her audition spread across the internet at an extraordinary pace. At a time when viral videos were still relatively new, Susan Boyle's performance became a global phenomenon. News organizations from Europe, North America, Asia, and beyond all covered the story of the woman who had shattered expectations with one unforgettable performance. Although she did not win Britain's Got Talent, finishing as the runner-up behind dance group Diversity, many people felt that Susan had become the show's true international star. What followed was something almost impossible to imagine. Record companies rushed to sign her. Television producers wanted interviews. Talk shows around the world invited her to appear. A woman who had spent decades living quietly in the same small village suddenly found herself recognized almost everywhere she went. Later that year, she released her debut album, I Dreamed a Dream. The response exceeded even the highest expectations. The album became one of the fastest-selling debut albums in history. It topped charts in numerous countries, including the United Kingdom and the United States. Millions of copies were sold worldwide, making Susan one of the best-selling recording artists of the era. More albums followed. The Gift, Someone to Watch Over Me, Standing Ovation, Hope. Each release attracted devoted fans who admired not only her remarkable voice but also the sincerity behind every performance. Unlike many celebrities, Susan rarely tried to reinvent herself for the entertainment industry. She continued singing the songs she loved: classic ballads, hymns, musical theater favorites, and inspirational pieces. Audiences appreciated that authenticity. Her success brought significant financial rewards as well. Over the years, Susan earned millions through album sales, international tours, television appearances, and publishing projects. Financially, her life had changed beyond recognition. Yet one decision surprised many people. Rather than buying a luxurious mansion or moving to an exclusive celebrity neighborhood, Susan chose to remain in Blackburn. She even purchased and renovated her late parents' former home, combining it with a neighboring property to create a more comfortable living space. She often explained that staying in the place where she grew up helped her feel grounded. Familiar streets, familiar neighbors, familiar memories. For Susan, success did not mean leaving her roots behind. But while the public celebrated her incredible rise, life behind the scenes was becoming increasingly difficult. The pressure of overnight fame proved overwhelming. Almost overnight, Susan went from living a quiet, private life to having cameras follow her every move. Reporters wanted constant interviews. Fans gathered outside her home. Every public appearance became headline news. For someone who had spent years avoiding attention, the sudden spotlight was emotionally exhausting. Following the Britain's Got Talent final in 2009, Susan experienced severe exhaustion and emotional stress. She was admitted to a clinic for several days to rest and recover. At the time, her representatives emphasized that she needed time away from the extraordinary pressure surrounding her sudden fame. The experience highlighted something many people overlooked. Success doesn't automatically prepare someone for celebrity. In later interviews, Susan spoke openly about learning to manage the demands of international fame. She gradually surrounded herself with trusted advisors and adopted a slower pace than many expected from a global star. Her health journey brought additional challenges. In 2013, Susan publicly revealed that she had been diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. For years, she had believed earlier medical assessments that suggested learning disabilities, but the updated diagnosis helped her better understand herself. Rather than viewing it as a limitation, Susan described the diagnosis as something that finally provided clarity. It explained why certain social situations had always felt difficult and why she often preferred quiet routines over busy public events. Nearly a decade later, another serious challenge arrived. In 2022, Susan suffered a stroke. She later revealed that the experience temporarily affected her speech and singing voice. For someone whose entire career depended on vocal performance, it was a frightening setback. Recovery required patience, determination, and months of rehabilitation. True to the resilience she had shown throughout her life, Susan worked tirelessly to regain her abilities. In 2023, she made an emotional return to the stage during Britain's Got Talent, performing once again before the judges and audience who had first witnessed her rise to fame. It was more than just another performance. It was proof of her perseverance. Despite everything she had achieved, Susan's private life remained remarkably simple. She has never married and has spoken candidly over the years about the fact that relationships were never a major part of her life. While media speculation occasionally linked her to potential romances, Susan generally kept such matters private, and there has been no verified long-term public relationship. Instead, she focused on family, music, close friends, and maintaining the ordinary routines that help her feel secure. Many fans found that both admirable and heartbreaking. After becoming one of the most recognizable singers in the world, Susan Boyle still preferred quiet evenings over glamorous parties, familiar neighbors over celebrity circles, and the comfort of home over the constant excitement of fame. To many, it seemed she had gained everything the world could offer. Yet the life she ultimately chose looked nothing like the glamorous fantasy people had imagined. And today, at 65, Susan Boyle's daily life reveals a side of her story that many fans have never truly seen. More than 15 years have passed since the night Susan Boyle stunned the world. The crowds are smaller now. The headlines are less frequent. The constant cameras that once followed her every move have largely moved on to newer stars. For many celebrities, that kind of silence would feel like the end of a career. For Susan Boyle, it appears to be something very different. Today, at 65, she continues to live in Blackburn, the same Scottish village where her remarkable story began. Despite earning millions during her career, she never embraced the extravagant lifestyle that often comes with international fame. Instead, she chose familiarity. The house where she lives today is closely connected to the home where she grew up. After achieving financial success, Susan bought back her childhood family home and expanded it by purchasing the neighboring property. Rather than erasing her past, she preserved it. She has said that returning home each day helps her stay connected to the people and memories that shaped her. For visitors expecting luxury worthy of a global superstar, the reality is surprisingly modest. There are no reports of sprawling estates, fleets of expensive sports cars, or lavish celebrity parties. Her surroundings reflect the same values she displayed long before anyone knew her name. Simple, comfortable, familiar. That simplicity has led some observers to describe her current life as sad. They see a woman who experienced extraordinary fame but never built the glamorous social life many expected. But that interpretation tells only part of the story. Susan has often spoken about valuing privacy over publicity. After years of constant media attention, she deliberately stepped back from the spotlight. Instead of chasing every television appearance or recording opportunity, she focused on maintaining a life that felt genuine to her. Her days are reportedly quiet. She enjoys listening to music, reading, spending time at home, and staying connected with family members and longtime friends. She has also remained involved with her local church community, where music has always played an important role in her life. Those routines may seem ordinary, For Susan, they represent stability. Family has remained especially important. Although both of her parents passed away before seeing the full extent of her worldwide success, Susan has continued to maintain close relationships with her siblings and extended family. Throughout her career, relatives have often helped her stay grounded, reminding her that the woman behind the headlines is still the same person who once sang in church and local community halls. Her friendships have also remained relatively small and close-knit. Unlike many celebrities surrounded by large social circles, Susan has preferred a handful of trusted people over endless public attention. That choice has likely protected her from many of the pressures that accompany fame. Health, however, continues to be an important part of her story. After revealing that she had suffered a stroke in 2022, Susan shared with fans that the recovery had been challenging. The stroke temporarily affected both her speech and her singing voice. She later explained that she worked hard through rehabilitation to regain her confidence and vocal strength. Her determination became clear in 2023 when she returned to the Britain's Got Talent stage. Standing once again before the judges who had witnessed her unforgettable audition years earlier, Susan performed with the same sincerity that first captured the world's attention. It wasn't simply a musical performance. It was a reminder that resilience often matters more than perfection. Although she performs less frequently than during the peak of her career, Susan has never officially turned her back on music. She continues to express gratitude for the opportunities her fans have given her and has occasionally participated in public events and charitable causes. Over the years, she has supported organizations connected with children, vulnerable communities, and humanitarian relief through performances and fundraising efforts. While she has never sought recognition for charity work, those contributions have reflected the compassion that fans have long admired. Her musical legacy remains remarkable. She transformed a single television audition into a career that sold millions of albums across the world. She proved that talent can emerge from the most unexpected places and that dreams do not have an expiration date. Perhaps even more importantly, she challenged assumptions about age, appearance, and social status. Before Susan Boyle, many people believed the entertainment industry had little room for someone who didn't fit the traditional image of a star. She changed that conversation forever. Even today, countless aspiring singers still mention her audition as the moment they realized it was never too late to pursue their own dreams. So why do some people still describe Susan Boyle's life as sad? Part of the answer lies in expectations. The public often imagines that wealth and worldwide fame automatically lead to lasting happiness. When they see someone living quietly instead of embracing celebrity glamour, they assume something must be missing. But Susan herself has frequently suggested otherwise. She has spoken about appreciating ordinary routines, familiar surroundings, and the comfort of remaining true to herself. While she has experienced loneliness at different points in her life, particularly after losing loved ones, there is no evidence that she views her quieter lifestyle as a failure. In many ways, it reflects a conscious choice. She found success without abandoning the person she had always been. That doesn't mean her journey has been easy. She endured childhood bullying, years of rejection, the loss of her parents, the overwhelming pressure of sudden international fame, the emotional strain of living under constant public scrutiny, and the difficult recovery from a stroke that threatened the gift she treasured most. Yet through every challenge, Susan Boyle continued moving forward with remarkable humility. Her story reminds us that appearances can be deceiving. The woman the world once pitted before hearing her sing became one of the most successful recording artists of her generation. The woman people assumed would live a glamorous celebrity lifestyle instead chose peace over prestige. Some viewers may watch her story and see sadness. Others will see strength. Perhaps both perspectives contain a measure of truth. Life rarely fits into simple categories. Susan Boyle's journey isn't a fairy tale with a perfect ending, nor is it a tragedy. It is the story of an ordinary woman who faced extraordinary circumstances and refused to let the opinions of others define her. In the end, her greatest achievement may not be the record she broke or the millions of albums she sold. It may be the example she set for people everywhere who have ever been told they were too old, too different, too quiet, or simply not enough. Because true success isn't always measured by fame, fortune, or applause. Sometimes it's measured by the courage to keep believing in yourself after years of rejection, by the strength to remain authentic when the world expects you to change, and by the perseverance to keep singing, even when life becomes far more complicated than anyone watching from the outside could ever imagine. Susan Boyle's voice changed her life in a single night, but it is her resilience, humility, and unwavering authenticity that continue to inspire millions around the world long after the applause has faded.